With us tonight is Arianna Huffington, the co-founder, editor-in-chief of Huffington Post, and author of Third World America, How Our Politicians Are Abandoning the Middle Class and Betraying the American Dream. As always, good to see you, Arianna.
Good to see you, Keith.
What the hell is this? I mean, is it political pandering or some sort of sincere idea for job growth or something else?
Well, it shows that his primary, maybe his exclusive preoccupation right now is re-election, because there is no other explanation. Obviously, he wants businesses to stop just giving to Republicans and start contributing once again to his re-election campaign, as they did in 2008, especially Wall Street. But for me, Keith, it doesn't make any sense at all, because we need to have a big debate about how to save American capitalism. This is not a left-right thing. I mean, there are many things wrong, and you can hear many good capitalists who sleep with copies of Ayn Rand's books under their pillows, who are worried about what's happening. Because even Adam Smith, I remember when I studied economics 3,000 years ago, that before he wrote The Wealth of Nations, he wrote a theory of moral sentiments. And he wrote again and again that the capitalist system cannot survive without a moral foundation. The problem, and what we should be debating now, is not just regulations, it's a basic morality in the way businesses and especially the financial sector operate, because there aren't enough regulators to regulate players in the market whose only preoccupation is short-term profit.
Your point about Ayn Rand, much better to sleep with the books under the pillow than read them. What he hinted at today, this directive to essentially go on a witch hunt for unnecessary regulations, what's at stake if that goes forward in any kind of meaningful way, as opposed to simply starting and ending with an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, which you'd say, okay, go ahead, what's the difference? If it helps you get reelected, that's your business. Just don't do it.
But it doesn't end there, because I understand there are already about 14 to 15 White House officials dedicated to this task. And the truth is that if he really wanted to do something fundamental to deal with red tape, he should have dealt with the tax code. I mean, there's tons of stuff in the tax code, including many loopholes, which allow many businesses to avoid paying taxes and many wealthy individuals. But no, instead, he did something so obvious, pure demagoguery. And what is really stunning is the timing, because this is the very moment when regulations are being put in the books about financial reform, and when millions of dollars are being spent by thousands of lobbyists trying to undermine these regulations. And we saw what happens when regulations are undermined. We saw what happened in West Virginia, the mining disaster. We saw the BP disaster. So there are real-life consequences here.
President Clinton was accused of over-regulation of business, created 22 million jobs in the process. Is this president perhaps scapegoating regulations to either direct the eye away from the fact that maybe he didn't get quite the stimulus bill, quite the job creation bill that he should have gone for? Is that what's happening here too?
Well, I'm sure that's part of it, because the stimulus bill ended up being completely inadequate. In any case, it included $300 million of tax cuts, which somehow are also being called stimulative.
Yeah.
And also, we've seen that a lot of the things that he could have done, you know, massive infrastructure spending, which we need anyway, even if we're at full employment, more ways to support innovation, including the Visa Startup Act that would allow people who are here, who've been educated here, or people who can come here with money or entrepreneurial ideas to create jobs. But because of this anti-immigration fervor, we can't even get that through, which would really help create jobs.